for you.
Yeah.
How come every time you talk to the camera, you do this?
Because I want to get deep inside the soul of the people watching. Happy July 4th.
Yo, what's going on, guys? My name is Chris Tutello, once again alongside my good friend, colleague, co-host,
Ruben Borges, what's up?
and welcome to episode number, what we believe is 35 of TTS Talk. There's too many now to keep track of this shit.
I'm going to say it is 35, though.
But welcome, guys. I just want to acknowledge you before we start the show, and thank you guys for all of your comments, your messages, your texts that you've shot over to me, and I'm sure to Ruben too, telling us that you appreciate the show and thanking us and that you're enjoying it. So thank you guys, and if there's ever any questions that you want us to answer on the show, be sure to send them our way. We're more than happy to help out and answer any of your questions.
Absolutely, guys. We enjoy this whole aspect of training, talking health, fitness, wellness, so keep them coming.
So what we want to talk about today is, I know a lot of you may consider joining some type of group training facility. You may not live near us and have the opportunity to train with us here at TTS. So maybe you're looking for a place that you could train at, a group training facility if you don't want to work with somebody one-on-one. And there's so much out there, there's so much noise out there these days that I think it's hard for most of you to understand what the differences are between a good quality training facility and a run-of-the-mill type of facility.
It's like, where do you go? Where do I start? How do I know which one is good? I mean, if you look at comments or what people say about them, probably all say, hey, this one's great, but how do you truly know you're going to be coached correctly or, be watched over and get your maximal results in that place? And how would you know that? And I think a lot has to do with as soon as you walk in, would you say?
Yeah, for sure. And also what I want to add to that is the main rule should be do no harm, right, for any trainer or coach. So whatever workouts you're going through, one is do no harm, and then the second thing is, is that coach, is that trainer just doing stuff to make you tired, or is there a purpose behind what it is that they're doing? Is there a why? Is there a rhyme and reason behind what they have you doing? Because if they just have you doing shit just because it makes you tired, it doesn't mean that it was a good workout. So I want you to know the difference there and know that there should be some type of progressive plan in place. There should be a reason behind everything that it is that the trainer or coach has you do.
I think a good red flag, if you walk into a place and before they even ask you any questions, they know nothing about your history, your injury history, past history, and they have you jump right into a training routine. If they're doing that, that's a big red flag of, well, maybe this is not the place for me, especially not knowing anything about you and they have you barbell back squatting or they have you doing some type of movement and not knowing nothing about your history, your joint health, or anything like that.
Right, or even if it's a place where they don't do actual strength work, right? Like a boot camp or something like that. You may have just had shoulder surgery, or you have a shoulder issue or a knee issue or something like that. But regardless of the issue, they don't even know, first of all, they don't even know what it is. Second of all, you might be doing push-ups or something like that that's just making the issue worse. So you have to always consider, are they looking at you as an individual, or are they just kind of letting you jump into the program? So what I wanted to talk to you about today, or what we wanted to discuss with you, is kind of our process, right? Like what we do here, so you could see the difference between what we do and what some other boot camps, gyms, places like that, what they do. So the first thing that we're going to do with you is we're going to bring you in for an orientation before you can ever jump into a training session or workout here. And now what I do want to address, just in case you've ever worked out with us in the past at one of our charity events, we do fundraisers, we do charity events, we do charity workouts and stuff like that to raise money for a good cause. One, the workouts that we have in place for those events are safe. They're not anything that's going to put you under heavy spinal loading or anything like that. But we also have a conversation before you start. We basically take what we do in our orientation and assessment, and we really cut it down to a quick conversation. But hey, have you had a recent surgery? Are you on any medications? What's your medical history like? What injuries do you have? We have that conversation first. So I just want to put that out there because we do have events, but we need to make it a point to have that conversation.
And a lot of our clients know the deal, so they'll talk to that member they're referring and make sure all that, but we still got to talk to them on the side and, for a good 5-10 minutes before and to make sure they're all good to go. Because a lot of the events we do have here, Jordan friendly, very common movements, and we had a coach in every single event.
Yeah, exactly. Coach in every event, and the exercises that we select are always safe, simple exercises, unless there's some type of really severe issue that you have going on. You'll be fully capable of performing the exercises that we prescribe. But with that said, what we do, step one, if you want to train with us at our facility, you're going to come in for an orientation. Now, during that orientation, we're going to have a in-depth discussion about, again, your medical history, injuries, past surgeries, the medications you may be on, right? And we're going to talk about that. Now, the other thing is we're going to talk about your goals. We're not going to force our goals on you, right? For instance, you might just be somebody who wants to get in better shape, be able to play with your kids or your grandkids, be able to walk up a flight of stairs without being in pain anymore. We're not going to say to you, well, we want you squatting 585, bro. Like that's not, we're not going to force that stuff on you. So we're going to want to know your goals. So Coach, you want to talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, so a lot of people, they go in, and one thing we get a lot is they want to feel better. They want to be confident again. So there's no even specifics in aesthetics or, they know it comes with it, but, I think people come here realizing, you know what, I can't go wrong getting strong. Let me just work on myself and getting stronger that way, but I want to do it the right way. So they come to us because, all right, I want to get strong, but I want to be watched too because I don't know where to go. And I'm at the gym, I have no idea what to do. So they want structure. And I think that's huge because, you get structure, everyone comes in, they get in a rhythm, they start getting stronger, confidence starts to build. I think that's a big factor in what you see here.
Right, and it's also, but the reason that we want to know your goals is because we want to understand what is it that you want to accomplish. What do you want to get out of training? Why are you here in the first place? We need to understand that because, again, we're going to modify our program to fit your specific needs. So even though we design it a certain way, we're going to make modifications throughout this program. One, based on your medical history and your injuries and all that stuff, past surgeries, but two, based on your goals, right? So we're going to make some modifications. So this way, it's not just, hey, this is the program, this is what you're doing. It's like, oh, what are your goals? What are your goals? I mean, what are you trying to accomplish? How much time do we have? Is there a big event coming up? Is there something that you're getting prepared for? Because we have guys who are martial artists, right? So we have guys who compete in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. They may not be doing the same thing. They won't be doing the same thing the week of their competition that somebody who is just training for general fitness is going to be doing. We're going to make those modifications. We don't want that person who's competing in jiu-jitsu on Saturday doing a brutal leg workout on Friday or Thursday, so they come on Saturday to their legs are destroyed and sore, right? So it's important for any coach, any trainer to know what it is that you want, what it is that you're trying to accomplish, what are your goals, what events are coming up. So this way, we have a thorough understanding of how to make this program fit your goals.
I think to carry over to that too, shout out to Nick Reinhold, who actually recently became, I remember, one of our warriors of the month.
Shout out to you, brother. Congratulations.
But, he brought up a comment that we had once in his assessment, his orientation, and he goes, man, I'm just trying to have confidence. And I went to go weigh him in, we just got to talk a little bit. I'm like, I'll take care of that for you, man. We'll really get that done. And then, because I know where he was coming from, I'm like, man, you want to just feel good again. I mean, he's gained about a good 12 to 15 pounds of muscle. He's pretty lean. He's shredded. He's telling me about all these events that he's going to. Everyone's like, dude, whoa, Nick, what's going on?
He's like a new guy.
Yeah, I mean, he calls himself Thor now, But I'm very proud of him. The amount of work ethic he has put in each and every single week. He's a great training partner with everyone, but he told me, he goes, man, I got that confidence. It's great. And now, now we just build from there. Let's see what we can go with. But it started with that orientation. That was like his main goal, to gain that and he did. And for some people, yeah, maybe it's just get stronger, it's confidence, maybe it's getting a rhythm, maybe it's get something, maybe there's issues at home that you just kind of want to have time for yourself to help you kind of better solve that issue at home. Whatever it is, let us know. Yeah, we want to see where that is. And same thing, if you're in jiu-jitsu, that's good to know things like that too on, the week of events, or maybe you have a wedding coming up and, you're looking to get ready for it and peak at that wedding and that wedding week. So there's so much that goes to it.
Yeah, no doubt. So after we know more about you, then and your goals, right, the medical stuff, then we want to see how you move, right? We need to see what areas that we need to really address. If there's, and so when we take you through our movement screening, we're going to take you through certain exercises. One, because it's part of our warm-up and we want to teach you our warm-up, but that warm-up's in place so we can also have a visual on your specific areas of weakness, or maybe you have a lack of flexibility or mobility or stability. We need to see that, because when you go through specific exercises and we see how you move, that tells us a lot about what we need to address over the course of your training program, right? Because most people, if you don't know enough about strength, about fitness, and when you walk in here and say, yeah, I have to, I have weak hips, I need to address my stability, I have tight hip flexors, like, you're not going to know that. So that's up to us to see, like, what do we really need to address? Okay, so during that movement screening, we're going to be taking notes on, what it is you need to work on, the individual, right? Now, again, this is a group training facility, but we're always going to customize it the best that we can to fit whatever it is that we need to address. So, in the warm-up, or when we're going through that movement screening, we're saying, okay, we want you guys now, when you show up to training sessions after your assessment, we want you showing up 15 minutes early. Because during that 15-minute window that you're here before our training session starts, before our actual warm-up starts, that's where we're going to address your specific needs in our prehab phase. So that may be if you have, let's just say, tight hip flexors, we're hitting hip flexor stretches, soft tissue work, maybe we're using a lacrosse ball, maybe we're using a foam roller or something of that nature. But we're addressing some of those areas that are tight, that are restricted for you, so we can then add that into your program, maybe outside of the prehab phase too. So for instance, if we are doing a lower body day, right, and let's just say we have some type of a squat variation program, we may then program in a filler exercise for your specific needs, like a hip flexor stretch if you have tight hip flexors. So instead of just resting during in between sets, you're addressing your areas of weakness or restricted areas to help you continue to make progress on that. And then you're going to learn those stretches, those soft tissue drills that you're going to be doing. You could do those on your days off. You could do them when you're home, when you're on the couch, if you're just watching TV, get onto the floor and start doing some of those drills. Yeah, and I talked about it with a lot of people. They'll do that. They're doing it at home. But a lot of veterans that are here, they'll just do it on their own. I don't even have to tell them. They'll know if they hit a certain movement, they know the stretch to do as a filler during their rest. So that's always good to see. You start learning more about your own body and what helps you to perform the movement a lot better. So you see it a lot. So you start learning these movements, your education goes up, and you start to move better, and that's big. Some of these guys add it, and before they're like their softball game, which you should,
things like that. Right. We tell them to do it, they laugh. I'm like, no, seriously, you gotta do that. I'm like, if you watch pro athlete, you watch these games, right? What do they do before the game? They don't just show up and play, right? They're there, a good amount of time before and warming up, stretching out, or whatever they really specifically need to work on. And that's something we do and we take serious.
Yeah, so understand that when you're getting into a group training facility, if somebody just says, hey, come on in, let's do this workout today, and then every day, you're never really talking about your specific needs. They're never doing an actual evaluation on you, and a thorough one too, not just let me see you bend down, touch your toes, an actual thorough evaluation and questioning and seeing how you feel, that is huge in itself. Just knowing, hey, okay, I know that Ruben has he tore his right pec, right? So I know that there's going to be some type of issue there. If him and Ruben and I were working together, like I know, okay, there's going to be some type of restriction. There's scar tissue in there. He had his tendon reattached. So I know that if him and I are training together, we're going to have a conversation like, dude, how does that feel on your shoulder? He might say, fuck, with my elbow flared out this way, it's a little too much stress. I'm going to try going with a neutral grip and making that variation, or making that adjustment, I should say. So then I would say, all right, so let's make that adjustment. Let's make that adjustment for you, where I may be able to press with a 45-degree angle just fine. Ruben might not be. So we're gonna adjust that slightly. That could just be a slight adjustment from a 45-degree angle to now a neutral grip, or it could be, hey man, any type of pressing is killing my shoulder. I feel it. It just doesn't feel right. Then we might say, okay, we're gonna cut that out altogether. Let's see how just like a basic push-up feels. Okay, push-ups feel good? Great, we'll stick with them. Let's see how we can then progress the push-up. And we do that for so many of our guys and girls here, like Wellington comes to mind, right? Where anything, shout out to you, Wellington, my man. We called out Wellington one time on the show, and since we called him a member, he felt very disrespected. A client, that was you. Wellington. But Wellington, you are family, bro. You are family, my man. I hope you watched this episode so you stop giving me shit for the last time.
That was about 2 weeks, Kevin.
Yeah, 2 weeks. I've been getting texts for the last 6 months. But
well, to kind of go back to the angle, and you were kind of doing like a pretending thing, but that's actually what really did happen. I had to switch my angle up. I use dumbbells more than anything, and I don't train through that pain, I train around it, but I've never felt better training that way. And that's what we try to tell people when we're switching these angles up. You're not missing out on anything. Believe me, you're getting stronger. And when that continues to happen, maybe down the road, you go back to something. You don't really even have to. There's ways to challenge yourself, create resistance with that angle, with tempo, we can get really deep into all that, rep ranges and all. You're gonna get results, But let's get results feeling good and feeling safe.
Right. And that's the thing too. Like, you could progress a movement in many different ways besides just going up and weight. But the point is that if your trainer or coach doesn't say, like, how's that feel on your shoulder, or if they don't even know that the issue exists, then you're not going to be training optimally. Like that, you're not going to be you're not going to be making progress there. So that's a huge red flag. So if you could just walk in and just start training without a coach getting your background, and also just laying a foundation. Like, whenever we have new people here, we always go through our foundational movements and we train those patterns. So if we have a deadlift program, let's just say, we're not going to have somebody who's brand new here, regardless of their injuries or pain or anything like that. We have to make sure they know how to move properly. So we have to teach them how to breathe properly. We need to teach them how to brace properly. We need to teach them how to create stability in the joints, right? And then move properly, right? Move optimally. And then we're going to spend some time on a variation, let's just say a suitcase RDL if we're talking about a deadlift, right? And we're going to work on that hinge pattern until it's efficient, until we can then say, all right, now you develop the strength, you develop the stability, the mobility these last couple weeks. Now we could start to move you to a deadlift. And some people might take longer. It might be 6 months. It might be 3 months. It might be a year. We don't know that until we're working with you and we see how it is that you move and we know the issues you got going on. There's some people that have disc issues, right? They have a herniated disc, a bulging disc. Some people had spinal fusions that came here. If we didn't know that those issues existed and that person had a spinal issue and we just loaded them up with a barbell, that's going to be detrimental to that person. It's the last thing that we would want to do, all right? So understand that if your trainer, coach, group training facility, whatever, if they don't ask you those questions, if they don't say what's going on with you, what are your goals, if you had an injury, a past injury, how does it feel when we do this exercise? Here's how we're going to modify it. Here's how we're going to progress. Here's why we're doing this in this training routine. And then they can't thoroughly explain what it is they're doing or thoroughly explain their progressions, right? Then that's not the place that you want to be at.
And we'll even get people that are pretty advanced.
And I'm sorry, even know your goals and know your goals specifically. I don't want to push my goals on somebody else, right? I'm not like my goal is to be 265 and shredded by August.
look like The Rock in Fast 5, but that's gonna take time. But yeah, everyone has different goals. But to go over, we were talking about some guys are advanced also that come here, and maybe they could be on the trap bar, but we still give them the fundamentals to go over. And sometimes that almost could be, they're like, nah, I've deadlifted before. I'm like, no, I know, just for at least let's get it. We wanted to see how you look here and there. And when we start coaching them on that, they their eyes open up a little because they're like, whoa, oh my goodness, I didn't know my shoulder blades were rounding, or I didn't know this was happening. I didn't know, my last side, wow, holy smokes, I really feel my hamstring here. So even those people that maybe a little more advanced have been hitting deadlifts, but then when we're going over like a suitcase RDL with them, they're kind of open to movement, and they're like, wow, I wasn't moving like this, definitely not. And it's an easy transfer to the deadlift. So, that's not even for the advanced guys. We want to go over these subtle movements because maybe they're advanced in a way, but maybe not to perform the lift optimally, and as safe as can be, because I think we've all been there when we kind of come out of high school where, I deadlifted. There's a big difference between saying, hey, I deadlifted, but like doing it properly and doing it with proper mechanics and doing it healthy and safe.
Yeah, there's a difference between doing an exercise and doing it correctly. Yeah. So just because you did it, you've done it, it doesn't mean that it was correct, right? So you kind of have to check your ego there too and say like, all right, look, let me just be open-minded here. But yeah, so that would be on you. But it's from a coach's standpoint, like if a coach just says, oh, you deadlifted before, well, yeah, go knock yourself out, like without knowing any of the issues, like that's a red flag, and you need to learn how to move first, and that should be on the coach. They should be teaching you, they should be showing you, they should be guiding you, correcting the things that need to be corrected before they progress you to a bigger compound movement.
Yeah, I can go with just so many movements out there in the game. So you want them to ask questions, and I think it's a big coach. We got injury history and finding out your goals. I think those are two really important things that you want, whatever facility you may be walking into or whatever coach you may be talking to, make sure they ask you those two big questions. And even, hey, what do you do for a living at the time? Are you sitting mostly? Are you, what is your daily living like?
Right.
Because that kind of helps us out too. And I know some people that come in maybe, later at night, I know their job consists of like no breaks or sitting down all day. So that'll change up prehab for them.
Yeah, you're a truck driver driving across the country all the time. Like odds are you probably have some type of low back issues, probably tight quads, tight hip flexors, tight glutes, right? Tight hamstrings, all of the above. So it's like those are things that you need to address, and you wouldn't want somebody like that to just kind of come in and grab a bar and go, right? So you have to make sure that your coach, your trainer, they're aware and they're competent and they're doing what they need to do, and no lazy coaching either. Because that's one thing that'll drive me absolutely insane is when you see lazy coaches or trainers, they're taking somebody through a quote unquote workout, right? And as the person is hanging upside down, they're like looking through their phone, scrolling through Instagram or texting some chick. Like that is
upside down.
Like remember, like this industry, it doesn't take a lot for somebody to get into this industry. Anybody could become a coach. Anybody could become a trainer. And just like any other career, there's good and then there's bad, right? So just make sure that if you see somebody who doesn't seem like they give a shit, they probably don't. You should never feel like that. Yeah, if they're putting their problems onto you and they're complaining about shit and they don't really want to be there and their head's not there and they don't seem like they're passionate, they don't seem like they care about you, about your day. If they're not asking, hey, that's another thing too. How's your day going? Like, did you get sleep last night? Like, when people walk through our doors, like those are the questions that we're asking them. Like, hey, like what's been going on? Like, because if somebody comes in and say we have a tough day programmed, right? And they come in here and they're like, I slept 3 hours. I've been fighting with my wife for the last 3 days. Work has been crazy. I'm stressed out of my mind. I feel exhausted. Like, we don't want to just beat the shit out of that person. Like, that's not our goal. Because that's not going to do them any good, right? Because we want them to be able to recover from the program, get the most out of it. So they might be doing something a little bit lighter, a little bit easier that day. Because overall, it's about consistency. It's not how hard was that workout. Did you fucking puke today? Were you passed out? Did you do burpees until you were fucking sweating all over the floor? Like, that's not what training, good coaching, good training, good programming is about. You have to know the difference. So if your trainer doesn't ask you those questions, if they don't know what's going on in your life, then that's another huge red flag there.
Yeah, because that goes with coaching. Let's say someone does come in and their program's the third week, last week of the program, trying to hit some big lifts, but like Coach said, they've had a rough week, they slept 2 hours, and I know they're going to try to go for that lift no matter what, but I can tell their body language is off, the warm-ups look extremely difficult for them. We're going to auto-regulate that program for them, and again, check your ego out the door, and they know, and especially when I explain something, they understand, and kind of get some comfort, like, all right, I'll stay with that, because you want to be consistent, you're not looking to get hurt. Sometimes that's how we get hurt, where we let life's problems not really have us make smart decisions in the gym, and that's where having a good coach will help you out and make the day actually feel good, not worse, and you leave this day and hopefully to feel better throughout the day.
Yeah, absolutely, man. There's no doubt about that.
Another thing, even I've had guys, and I've noticed they're a little hungover. And I'm like, I was your weekend, heavy weekend. I'm like, wow, it really was heavy. All right, well, today's a rough one. We get that big finisher, be moderate your weight, your selection, because, I just want to keep the movement pristine and everything like that. And, they're open to me. They tell me, they're like, man, I didn't drink a lot of water, I'm very dehydrated, like things like that. And so having
we
conversations,
need to take that into consideration.
Yeah, that's just something to know, especially if it's a killer finisher or something and, passed out or something like that.
So the whole point is today's show is that what to look for, what the red flags are. So when you're walking in and you're investing in yourself and you're making a commitment to a training facility for yourself, these are the things that you need to look for. These are the things you need to be aware of if you want to get into a good training facility and be around the right people. Because if you just walk in somewhere and it just anything goes, one, you're not going to make real progress, right? Two, the chances of you getting hurt are much more likely, and that's the last thing you want to do is get hurt from exercising, right? Like we don't want to get hurt doing this. No. We want to get strong, we want to reach our goals, and we want to help prevent injuries. So the last thing we want you to do is get hurt while you're training. So keep this in mind, guys. I really hope that this episode is helpful, and if you have any questions for us on today's topic, then what I want you to do is go over to Instagram, shoot me a DM. I'm at Chris_Tutela, Tutela. Shoot me over your questions, and then I will be more than happy to get back to you. Coach, where can these guys reach you? Guys,
you can ask me any questions at _Ruben, RUBEN, _Borges, BORGES, and that's Instagram. So ask away, and we'll like to bring it up in the next episode.
Guys, I hope you enjoyed today's show. Reach out on Instagram. Let us know what you got on your mind. And have an awesome 4th of July weekend. We're filming this today, is July 2nd. So have a very safe, happy, healthy 4th of July. Be careful with those damn fireworks and alcohol. It never makes for a good combination.
Ask Jason here, Paul.
Ask my neighbor when my friend Nick set her bush on fire.
We was at that party. We all ran.
Yeah. You guys ran and left me with the fireworks.
We did, yeah. I was like, have peace. Hey, Chris, fire your bush. See ya.
Have an awesome weekend, guys. We will catch you next week on another episode of
TTS Talk.
Doing it again.
No.
Doing it again.
America, because it'll end like that.
You're not American, though, are you?
I am.